Santa Claus. Thomas here with Mush Props, going to give you another how-to video. Today I am once again carrying on the tradition of making something from The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is one of my favorite Christmas movies. And I asked for suggestions last video and somebody suggested I make Santa Claus, but do it with needle felting instead of clay. So today I am needle felting old Sandy Claus out of some wool and polyfiller. That's pretty much it. Let's get to building. Big thanks to the Duketh 985 for the build suggestion. I've really enjoyed trying needle felting this year, and it's nice to see that other people are enjoying it as well. For those of you who aren't familiar with The Nightmare Before Christmas, you definitely should give it a watch. It is an absolute classic. The inhabitants of Halloween Town refer to Santa Claus as Sandy Claus, so that's why you're hearing me refer to him in that way. As far as the needle felting is concerned, it's a pretty simple process. I like to build up the base for each piece with polyfiller, the stuff that you find in most pillows or stuffed animals. It's a super cheap material and will save you a lot of money instead of making the object completely out of wool. The needles are barbed and you just push them into the material, which tangles the strands on themselves and locks them into place. This process will take hundreds of stabs to compact the material into a sturdy base. With the bell shape of Sandy Claus done, I am ready to add the color to my guy. I am now switching over to wool. You can get it in tons of different colors, and I typically like to mix up several different ones to dirty it up a bit. I like the look of the multicolor. It may not read as well from a distance or on camera, but in person, up close, it looks really cool to see the blend instead of a solid color. I'm mixing mine with a wool carder. That's the thing right there that looks like a torture device to brush kids' hair with that's unruly. Pulling the paddles away from each other helps to straighten out the fibers and helps to distribute the color across your mixture. You can do this by hand, it just takes a whole lot longer. I'm primarily mixing all these colors also because I don't have enough red and figured browns and burnt oranges would blend well with the base color. With the mix done, it almost looks like a solid color at a distance. I spread the material across my base and begin stabbing in the wool to the polyfiller. You may be looking at my needle array and wondering why so many needles on a handle, or maybe when do you use more needles or single needles? I got you covered. My larger array of needles I think is 8, and I like to use it when I am working on large spaces. The more needles on the tool, the more barbs are pushing into the polyfiller, and that translates to me having to stab less. For smaller areas, I like to use a 3-prong array, and for fine details, I switch over to a single needle. I hope that clears up any confusion. You may also notice that I have a padded mat underneath my workpiece. These needles are very thin and easily snap. To help limit the amount of broken needles, and let me tell you, there will be many, a mat is well worth the investment. It only costs 15 to 20 bucks. nice. What really sucks is when you break a needle into your plushie and you have to dig out the barb because you don't want someone to get a surprise stinging when they squeeze the plushie. I added some other colors off camera and got a bit ahead of myself, adding some arms to my Sandy Claus. The Nightmare Before Christmas version, you don't really see Santa's legs when he's just standing there. To do the add-ons to your plushie, you simply repeat the steps like before, bulking out the shape with polyfiller and then skinning it with wool. To attach add-ons, you just stab through both pieces in multiple directions a bunch of times to interlock the parts together. So no glue or sewing is necessary, just thousands of stabs over the course of the whole project. In total, this thing probably took me about 6 hours to make, so fairly quick. No painting or any of those other things at the end. Just be careful with those needles because man do they suck when they stab you. Not only do they pierce through wool very easily, they also pierce through your skin very easily. So I could easily work on his face details, I kept the head detached until I was completely finished. I guess one of the reasons that I really like The Nightmare Before Christmas so much is because of the message. At its heart, The Nightmare Before Christmas embraces the timeless holiday themes of family, generosity, and togetherness. Beyond that familiar warmth, it tells a powerful story of self-discovery. Jack Skellington finds himself trapped in a never-ending cycle, longing for purpose beyond the role he has always played. When he stumbled upon Christmastown, he's awoken the wonder of something new, boldly questioning tradition and daring to step beyond what he knows. Through failure, growth, and redemption, Jack ultimately learns that fulfillment doesn't come from abandoning who you are, but from seeing your own world with renewed eyes. In the end, he discovers that what he was searching for had been there the whole time, waiting to be truly appreciated. I added the hat onto the head and then the head onto the body. After tapping the head to the base, I thought it could use a little bit more interest, so I added a sack for him to carry. Bringing this piece to life reminded me why I love making things. Needle felting this version of Santa from a world I've loved for years was slow, imperfect, and sometimes frustrating, but that's where the meaning lives. Every poke of the needle was a choice to stay curious, trust the process, and keep going even when I wasn't sure how it would turn out. Like Jack's journey, this build was about stepping into the unknown and learning through the work itself. In the end, this Santa is more than just felt. He's a reminder that creativity takes patience, risk, and courage to see familiar things with fresh eyes. If this build inspired you to try something new or to appreciate what's already in front of you, then it was worth every stitch. Thanks for being part of this journey, and as always, keep creating. And we are finished. Here is the end result. Overall, I think it turned out pretty good. It's definitely something that you can do relatively quickly, and it's a nice soft decoration that could easily go anywhere. Maybe you'll get some.
Yay!
And inevitably, they're gonna ask you, how'd you make that? Give them one of these, tell them, much props. Time to go find a place to put old Sandy Claus. Peace out. If you enjoy what I do here on YouTube and you'd like to see more builds like this one, please consider joining these awesome people listed here with me over on my Patreon to build a bigger, better, more creative community together.